From the bustling markets of Manila to the silver mines, from the vibrant cities of New Spain to the sugar plantations of Cuba, there was not a moment when the Spanish crown was not collecting taxes from subjects in some part of the world. There was not a moment when the galleons of the Manila galleon trade were not carrying goods to and from the Americas. The Spanish Empire was the first global empire in history. And while many empires come to mind when discussing the biggest empires in history, few realize that Spain was home to the biggest empire the world had ever seen. Today, we shall discuss the zenith of the Spanish Empire. Hello, and welcome to my channel. Here, in today's episode, we shall be looking at the zenith of one of the largest empires in history, the Spanish Empire. You might be thinking what everyone thinks when they hear about the Spanish Empire, which is usually somewhere around 1580, the height of the Iberian Union. However, contrary to popular belief, the peak of the Spanish Empire was not in the late 16th century, but rather in the late 18th century. Historians usually agree that the peak of its territorial size occurred around 1790, when Spain controlled vast regions across Europe, the Americas, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. At that time, the Spanish crown ruled an estimated 13.7 million square kilometers, making it one of the first truly global empires. While the peak of the Spanish Empire was in the 18th century, the story of the empire traces back to the late 5th-10th century, and so we must begin there. In 1492, under the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile, Spain completed the Reconquista by capturing Granada, the last Muslim stronghold on the Iberian Peninsula. That same year, Christopher Columbus embarked on his first voyage, sponsored by Spain, which marked the beginning of Spanish exploration and colonization in the New World. Throughout the 16th and 17th centuries, Spain expanded rapidly. Following the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494, Spain and Portugal divided the newly discovered lands outside Europe between them, granting Spain vast territories in the Americas and the Philippines. Under Charles I of Spain, also known as Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, the empire encompassed much of Europe, including territories in Italy, the Netherlands, and parts of Germany, making Spain a dominant power on the continent. However, Spain's true global reach was realized under Philip II. In 1580, Spain and Portugal entered into the Iberian Union, uniting their empires under one crown. For a brief period, Spain ruled over territories stretching from South America to Africa, from Asia to Oceania, and across much of Europe. The saying that the sun never sets on the Spanish Empire became literally true. During the reign of Philip II, Spain grew increasingly wealthy thanks to the influx of silver from its American colonies, which was largely extracted by the indigenous population through brutal means. This wealth allowed Philip to fund a vast navy that dominated the seas and projected Spain's power across the globe. From the defeat of the English at the Battle of Gravelines to the defeat of the Dutch at the Battle of Cadiz, no other navy came close to matching the might of the Spanish Armada. However, despite its military prowess, Spain faced numerous challenges during this period. The Dutch revolt against Spanish rule, which began in 1568, proved to be a costly and protracted affair. Additionally, the Anglo-Spanish War caused by England's support for the Dutch rebels further drained the Spanish treasury. By the mid-17th century, the Dutch Republic had emerged as a formidable naval power, challenging Spain's dominance at sea. Despite these setbacks, Spain continued to expand its colonial holdings. In 1687, the French explorer Robert Sieur de la Salle claimed a vast region in North America for France, which he named Louisiana in honor of the Spanish king. However, this posed no threat to the Spanish Empire, as it was incorporated into the Viceroyalty of New Spain. As the 18th century dawned, Spain's overseas territories accounted for the majority of its revenue and population. By this point, the empire's focus had shifted primarily to the Americas, with vast regions under direct royal control and others populated by numerous colonists and missionaries. Most of South America, Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and large portions of North America, including Florida, California, Texas, and Louisiana, were all ruled directly by the Spanish crown. In addition, Spain held significant territories in the Pacific, such as the Mariana Islands, Guam, and parts of Micronesia. Furthermore, Spain maintained strong footholds in Africa, with cities like Ceuta, Melilla, and Equatorial Guinea serving as strategic outposts. At its zenith, around 1790, the Spanish Empire boasted an impressive list of territories that stretched from Europe to Oceania. Let us now explore these far-flung possessions and appreciate the vastness of the empire. In Europe, Spain's territories included areas such as Catalonia, Valencia, Galicia, Andalusia, Extremadura, Navarre, and Granada. Although not contiguous, these regions formed integral parts of the Spanish mainland. In the Americas, the empire's reach was even more extensive. In present-day Mexico, Spain held vast territories, including the modern Mexican states of Sonora, Sinaloa, Chihuahua, Durango, Zacatecas, San Luis Potosí, Guanajuato, Querétaro, Hidalgo, Veracruz, Puebla, Tlaxcala, Morelos, Guerrero, Oaxaca, and Chiapas. Further south, the empire extended its dominion to Guatemala, encompassing the modern-day countries of Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. Moving along the Caribbean coast, Spain's influence could be found in the island territories of Cuba, Hispaniola, which included the present-day Dominican Republic and Haiti, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. To the east, the empire's presence extended to the Lesser Antilles, including islands like Barbados, St. Lucia, and Trinidad. In North America, Spain's territories covered vast regions, including modern-day Florida, Texas, and parts of the southwestern United States. Notably, the northern boundary of the empire reached as far as the 42nd parallel. Additionally, Spain held claims in Canada, specifically in the area around present-day New Orleans. Further south, the empire's reach extended to the Philippines, comprising the archipelago that is now the Philippines. In Asia, Spain's presence was significant, with territories such as the Molucca Islands, Indonesia, Guam, and the Mariana Islands. These possessions were strategically important due to their role in trade and exploration. Finally, in Africa, Spain maintained coastal territories such as Ceuta, Melilla, and the Dioro, which are present-day Morocco and Western Sahara, respectively. These areas served as trading posts and military outposts, connecting the empire's various regions. It would be a mistake to talk about the Spanish Empire and not mention the things that made the empire the powerhouse that it was. One of the most notable achievements of the empire was its establishment of robust trade routes connecting its various territories across the globe. A prime example of this was the Manila Galleon route, which linked the Philippines directly to the Americas. This trade route facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures between the East and the West on an unprecedented scale. Language and religion also played a crucial role in shaping the legacy of the Spanish Empire. Spanish became the dominant language in much of the Americas, displacing indigenous languages and becoming an integral part of the cultural identity of these regions. Similarly, Catholicism spread widely throughout the empire, profoundly influencing the religious and societal norms of the lands it touched. From grand cathedrals in Mexico City to the famous churches in colonial towns, the architectural grandeur left an indelible mark on the landscape. Scientific exploration and discovery were another hallmark of the Spanish Empire. With vast territories to explore and map, Spain invested heavily in expeditions that pushed the boundaries of knowledge. The empire's naturalists and scientists documented countless plant and animal species, laying the foundation for modern-day taxonomy and ethnobotanism. Finally, the empire's patronage of the arts and architecture resulted in some of the most breathtaking masterpieces in history. From the opulent Royal Palace of Madrid to the awe-inspiring Metropolitan Cathedral of Manila, the empire's cultural contributions continue to inspire and captivate audiences worldwide. However, despite its many accomplishments, the Spanish Empire was not without its challenges. The costs associated with maintaining a vast overseas empire proved to be substantial. Constant warfare in Europe, particularly with rivals like France and the Dutch, drained the empire's resources. Additionally, piracy posed a significant threat to shipping lanes, disrupting trade and sapping the economy. By the early 19th century, internal pressures within Spain, coupled with rising nationalist sentiments in its colonies, led to a series of revolutions. Inspired by Enlightenment ideals and figures like independence movements swept across Latin America, gradually dismantling the empire. The first country to break away was Haiti, which revolted against French rule in 1791 and became the first independent black republic in the world. Other Spanish colonies followed suit, with Mexico achieving independence in 1821 and most other regions gaining freedom by 1826. Despite its eventual demise, the Spanish Empire left an enduring legacy on the world stage. Today, more than 20 countries worldwide have Spanish as their official language, and Hispanic culture continues to influence global music, literature, cuisine, and traditions. The empire's impact on shaping the cultural landscape of our world is immeasurable. To conclude, at its peak around 1790, the Spanish Empire was a true global superpower, characterized by its vast territories, cultural diffusion, and scientific achievements. While its vast holdings came with significant challenges, the empire's influence on language, religion, and the arts left an enduring legacy that continues to shape our world today. The story of the Spanish Empire serves as a reminder of the complexities and far-reaching consequences of global empires. And that is the end of today's episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you did so. Also, do tell me what you think about the episode in the comments section down below. I always look forward to reading your comments. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.